again, but not on Collab. Probably on somebody's system who's not using Collab. That is much more convenient actually. So yeah, that's FYI. So Rasa, other maybe Amazon's Lex, Google's Dialogflow are all frameworks where you have to give them intents and examples, and they will create a chatbot for you. Here it is definitely more challenging. You are coming up from scratch, like how you can answer the questions, right? One thing about Graph AI, sorry, knowledge based chatbot is it's a task oriented chatbot, right? It cannot answer obviously open questions. It's a task oriented chatbot. So you can ask questions like, what is the fare between Delhi and Bangalore on SpiceJet, right? That's a specific task you are looking for, correct? You
Yes,
can
sir.
ask it. You cannot ask questions like, or you, it will be difficult to answer questions. I don't know, maybe there is information in the knowledge base saying how is the experience on the flight between Delhi and Bangalore, right? Something like that. Maybe there is a question you can try. So you also need to have a logic where you will say, okay, this question not enough information, or unable, I'm not able to understand, something like that. So you'll have to have a fallback logic also, where you can say to people or say to the user saying, I don't have the answer, right? So that's one thing. So we'll discuss on what can be done for, or what is the approach, right? So I really want to. So we will be covering several frameworks today. I think at least three of them, right, including Rasa, and we'll also do some amount of deep learning based. We'll touch upon deep learning based intent identification. It's a very good topic, right? A very important topic. We'll touch upon it, and then in the fourth class we'll do majorly things on that, right? But right now we'll kind of discuss in detail our assignment, right? So okay, thanks. Anybody else who wants to share their approach, right? Because this is something which I will discuss the approach with you. I would encourage you to do it. The approaches I discuss, right? There are several approaches you can take in a knowledge based chatbot thing, and that's something. It's important. It's something when you know you are kind of you'll be if you are able to handle this problem, right? You can handle most of the chatbot creation problem. Please share your approaches. By the way, all of you must have received today's slides on your mail, right?
Sir, it's sending. They'll be able to
Okay,
receive in
okay,
time.
no problem, no problem. Yeah. I'll take up the slides after some time. We'll spend around maybe half an hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes on the assignment discussion. But by the way, everybody got the assignment and understood the assignment, right? Any doubts in the assignment before we discuss it?
No, I think so. We're good.
Okay, great. So let's brainstorm. Let's brainstorm on what are the some of the approaches. This is purely a brainstorming session. I want to start the class with a solid brainstorming. What are the approaches? And any ideas are welcome, because as I said, there are multiple ways. You don't know, you might come up with a new idea which might be very unique, right? So please feel free, think aloud and share your views. We want to create a knowledge graph based chatbot.
I mean, one of the idea. Hi, this is Sandeep. So one of the idea I
Yes,
was
Sandeep.
trying. I mean, to be honest with you, I was down, so with fever, could not do much. But yesterday night, I was just looking at it. One of the approach which I was thinking is, of course, extracting the Wikipedia content through not through entity extraction, but through a general method of Python, and then filter them out with relationship extraction on the question you had asked of Walmart, and then
Mm,
build an intent of the question you had asked, where is the location of Walmart, if I'm not wrong,
mhm.
and then that intent will reply back with the geographic location.
Yes. So, for example, I know again, as I said, very interesting approach. What kind of intents can you capture, right? So, or how would you capture? So, if I give you a question, what is the location of maybe Wall Street? Just saying, right? So, how do you find the intent of this question?
The intent would be the location intent. and
Mm-hmm.
that will have a namespace variable dollar location. So when
Yeah.
I give any word location, so the location intent will be triggered, and under which I would have stored a variable of the location of Walmart. Instead of hard coding it, I'll just create a namespace variable.
Okay. When you say namespace variable, you are how do you know that location is a namespace variable? You know that because you are creating it as a creator, right, of the
Yes,
chatbot.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Fair enough, fair enough. So you are preparing a chatbot with a dictionary or a repository of variables which you think are entities, right?
Entities.
Location is
Yes,
an entity, right?
a location is
Okay.
an entity.
Okay.
Dollar
So
location will become an entity.
okay, good approach. Good approach. You are coming up with your own entities. In fact, some of the chatbots we'll see today would already have predefined entities. For example, we'll spend some time on Google Dialogflow today, right? I want the class also to create a simple chatbot. As you will see, before jumping onto deep learning, I want to give a flavor of all the chatbot tools or major chatbot tools, and I will point you towards other chatbot tools which you can try yourself, right? Then we'll jump to deep learning towards the end of the class today, right? So but yeah, in these frameworks, chatbot frameworks also, there are entities predefined. Just like Sandeep said, he is defining location. So thank you, Sandeep, that's a good suggestion. So Sandeep, you will be continuing on this and probably submit the assignment on the new revised
I
date,
will.
right? Thank you,
I will. Yes.
thank you. Okay. uh, Anybody else wants to share, please? In fact, I would encourage everyone to share yeah, their approaches, please.
Praveen here, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Praveen here, sir.
yeah.
So what I did was I initially cleaned like, extracted the entity from that page, and then I did the relationship extraction, and after that everything was tokenized based on the LSTM. I thought I will do the text generation. So I was in that process of doing the LSTM actually
Okay,
after
so
assigning parts of speech, like a
okay.
POS.
Okay, so that's interesting. I think identifying parts of speech is really important step, because you will know what is a noun, what is a verb, right? So probably you will find out the. So if you remember last time, the way we were identifying relationship was through verb root. I mean the verb tag, right? If you remember, right? I think the root tag was the main
Yeah,
relation,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So definitely that's a good approach, right? So yeah, identification like that is important, right? Anybody? Okay, anybody else who wants to kind of share the? Then I will also talk about some of the possible approaches, right? As I said, I really want you to do the assignment on the approach which you are most convinced with. You have to convince yourself that this is the approach which should work. Don't take it as just an assignment. It's an asset, it's a learning, right? So you solve this problem, you'll have made a great progress in a difficult problem in the chatbot domain, right? So please take this assignment as a learning exercise, nothing else.
Good morning, Ravi sir.
Good
Soumya
morning.
this.
Hi Ramya.
So I tried it using the Hugging Face library. I tried
Mm-hmm.
five ways. I failed in all.
Mm-hmm.
The somewhere the tensor size was not good, and so that was from Keras TensorFlow. But
Yeah.
then I tried the Hugging Face. So I used the auto tokenizer and auto model for question answering.
Uh-huh.
So auto model for question
we
answering.
will be we will be using some of those today in one of the sessions. So yeah, go ahead, you have already preempted the class, which is quite interesting. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So uh, the challenge I was facing is I got the text from Wiki and Wikipedia. So the size, the maximum size of text is 512. That is what I learned by a lot of
Yeah,
reading.
Hugging Face has this limitation, Soumya. So they will have this 512 thing. I think there is some
Then,
workaround.
yes,
Uh,
workaround. So I what the workaround is to break the long article into chunks of 500. So there are
uh,
two at the beginning and end. There are two tokens, SCP and CLS.
mm,
So I took the chunks of 500 from the given text, and then I was able to get the answer of this particular thing. Just uh, if I can share the screen.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, definitely. I would encourage people to show the code as well. This is an MTech AI, MTech class, right? So definitely code discussion is very, very important part.
This is what I'm getting. Where is the Wall Street located? And this is saying New York. And
New York City.
yep. So this is the code, and basically uh, this is the the piece to chunk to divide the text into chunks. If they are more than 512, I'll call this. So yeah. So this is what I have now.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Uh, the challenge is this real challenge. I mean, I will be honest. So
Mm-hmm.
I use this particular library provided by Hugging Face. But if I were to
Mm.
write this code myself to some extent, I will still struggle there. So I will need your guidance. I mean, how to proceed,
Sure.
because this is limited.
Correct. So in fact, on a side note, Hugging Face is a very not even mine. Everyone who is in the field of NLP, Hugging Face is a really interesting library. It has made our job much easier, right? So definitely, a lot of things being done in NLP today, maybe almost 80 to 90% are being done through transformers or Hugging Face, right? So that's something. So yeah, so your approach is very interesting. I would say one of the things I would expect the class to do is also look at the entity approach. Can we keep that approach and then work on a solution as well, right? That's also something I would like to encourage, right? So thank you, Swami. Anybody else who wants to come on camera as well as share their location? Share their resolution. Yeah, I see some folks have joined. Kathirishan, hi.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Hi, Gautam. So please go ahead with your solution, discussion, approach, anything. I really want to all of us to have an approach here. It is I really want all of us to kind of start thinking in the ways of solving this difficult problem. How do you make a chatbot out of just the entity relationship structure like a knowledge graph?
I haven't progressed much, sir. I have identified the entity relationships and then I took the question, tokenized it
Uh-huh.
to and pass tagged it, and I need to proceed further, sir.
Okay. Yeah, pause tagging is, as I said, is a valid approach. Okay. Anybody else wants to share? Thank you, Katrish.
Thank you.
Okay, let me see the Purnima. Have you shared? Is Purnima on the call?
Hello, sir. Yes, I'm on the call, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Hi.
connected through mobile.
Okay.
Uh,
I saw your message. Yeah. No, so do you have like some approaches to discuss or share the assignment?
uh, yes, sir. Last class only we started with that entity relation tagging, right? I proceeded
Hmm.
with the same. I was able to do the tokenization and I was able to get the answers, but that was not that accurate. So I was just checking on that. I followed the same approach which I was doing in the class last time. So entity extraction one.
Okay. So what's the issue here happening with you, or what's the issue with your approach?
Like I used NLTK library for that tagging, sir, but the entity whatever it has tagged, right, it is not proper to that page. And whenever I'm trying to tokenize the question and try to do the POS tagging and ask the question, it's
Mhm.
not able to give the proper scoring. So for that.
Uh, okay, but I would really love to see the code once you are able to share, so that we can probably discuss. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, Pravina has shared, Sandeep has shared, Santosh has shared, Samya has shared. Varaprasad, you want to share your approach?
Sir, due to out of station, I am unable to do the exercise, sir.
Okay.
But my idea is just like Sandeep told as a dictionary. Like that, we have to extract from question
Mm-hmm.
the intent for a particular field. Let's suppose tablets for a patient. Then from that patient requirement, it has to extract the tablets. Then a dictionary method is best. Like that, I am thinking. In case of this laptop preference to the customer, then web browsing is 2 GB, and like that we discussed.
Yeah.
Depending on the question, exact from library it has to extract like that. Extract like that. I am thinking, sir. I want to put the same in assignment.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. Yeah, I agree with entity extraction, right? That definitely helps you in linking it to the question. So yeah, I
Yes.
am like looking forward to your approach. So one thing you would need to keep in mind that even the question has entities, right? So you would need to compare on what entities you're looking for with the answer entities, or with the your text where you're getting the answer from, right? So the Wikipedia page will have entities, question will have entities. You need to match in certain way. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Vinay, have you already shared? If not, please.
No, Ravi sir, I'm working on it. Uh,
Okay.
Basically, the same methodology that Soumya and Varaprasad mentioned, right? The
Okay.
entities. But once I'm done, I will definitely share it, sir.
Okay, so yeah, so I think Hasita, Monday is the deadline for the assignment, right? Now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please, I would expect everyone to submit, right? And as in, also I would love to have detailed comments so that it's my job is easier to kind of understand what approach you have taken, right? So hope everybody got that point, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well commented code is required. Yeah, I'm fine even if you write like a set of steps as bullets in commented above the code. That's also fine with me. Yeah. Okay. Or maybe a set of slides if you want to separately send. I'm fine with that as well. Okay. So that's in fact that's a good idea. We can have the approach clearly called out, and then I can go through the code. Okay. So I think we have covered everyone, right? Anybody else who I have not checked with on the call? Let me just take out the list. I think Ritvik is not present, right?
No, sir,
Right.
Ritvik is not there.
Okay. Will he be joining today?
He hasn't informed me yet.
Okay. Noor is not there as well.
Yes, I know this was not.
Okay. Ashutosh, Srihari, and Shivpriya. They are also not there, right?
Sir, Ashutosh is there in the call.
Hey Ashutosh, I just saw you. Sorry. So
I just
Ashutosh,
joined.
okay, Ashutosh, we are just discussing the approach to the assignment. But please share any approaches you have thought of. All ideas are welcome.
Actually, sir, I haven't started yet.
Mhm. Any issues like because of that you've not started anything which is like majorly not clear? Please feel free to ask.
So
Because as I
my
said, I
laptop
really. Oh, okay. Laptop issues.
got updated to Windows 11, and after that, a lot of things are not working. So
Okay.
I was stuck configuring things.
So just so are you have you installed Python on your laptop or is it still not done?
Yes, yes, it's there.
So one help we need today, because you're not using Jupyter Notebook, I would run the Rasa session on your laptop virtually, right? So you will. I'll request you to share your screen. That is fine with you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because yeah, Collab has some issues with Rasa. We'll have to install some extra modules there. So to avoid that, I'll simply run it on the maybe I'll show the class on a simple, I mean a non-collab setup. Okay. Okay. Ash- Santosh is okay. Okay, so I think Shipriya and Ritvik and Noor are kind of absent. Okay, let us know. Just ping me when they are here, Hasita. Okay,
Sure, sir.
thank you. Okay,
I was just
so
trying while you guys were talking, Ravi, Sandeep here.
yeah, Sandeep, hi.
So I had just tried written some unit
You want to
tests.
share your screen? I
I'm on the
it's,
phone, but I'll join from my laptop and I'll share the screen.
okay,
But I'm talking to you on my laptop. I'm writing and I'm talking to you on the phone.
okay, sure. Go ahead.
Once again.
No problem.
So the approach which I was saying is it's though technically it's not hard coding, but I'm still hard coding it because in the unit test when I'm writing a test to check if it can pick up if the question is a little different, then it's actually not. So let me make it
But
more general.
by the way, difference. Sorry. The very important point you raised. See, question: how close is the question? There are multiple ways of finding it out. Have you guys heard of edit distance? Right? Or edit distance is one thing where how close are two sentences to each other? Okay,
Yeah.
you can find out using multiple ways. So that is some of the approach I would suggest. So please go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm using cosine similarity to find the
Mhm.
closest match between the two or how the question is asked. But I'll share my screen in a couple of minutes once I.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Yeah. So there is this famous data set on Kaggle. It's called Quora questions data set. Have you guys heard of it? Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can somebody talk about that? What is it about? Meanwhile, I'm opening it on my Chrome. So that data set is also interesting for this course for all of us, right? Why is that? Just read the question. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Can you? So this is the question. Can you identify question pairs that have the same intent? Now, intent is something that's important for us, right? We all know.
Yes, sir.
So that's what. So that's the whole idea. I think where is the data set? I'll have to be logged in. I'm not logged in, but yeah. Where is the sample submission? Can somebody share the screen who are logged into Kaggle, just so that we can see? Because I'm not logged in on this system.
I think we have the data set for that particular problem. Last module exam, we had the same question.
Okay. Wow. What was the question on the exam? You had to match it.
Yeah.
Then you already have matched stuff. So my job is easy. You guys have done it in the exam. How was the experience?
So using cosine similarity only, we have matched, extracting the intent, and we had the questions and answers. And from that, we had, I
How
had
did
done
how
the
did you
cosine
how did
similarity.
you extract the intent? Very good. See, I excellently discovered that you have already done a very important exercise, which is important for this whole course. Yeah, feel free to share with me any other similar exercise you have done in the past, as we can probably take it. So what is anybody of you welcome who solve this problem? Please come up with your approach on how did you tackle this problem in detail. Is fine, because the same approach can be used here in the graph problem with some changes, with some additions in the knowledge graph. If I give you, so for Cora team, there are multiple questions people ask in different ways. They want to group it or they want to deduplicate it, right? What is the way to do it?
So basically, what we did that after grabbing the data, there were two
Hmm.
columns, question one and question two. So we cleaned those, did some pre-processing, and then after that, once the questions were cleaned, we converted those to tokens, and then we combined the tokens, both the columns corresponding to question one and question two. Uh, so then we had one model. We tried to build the model, and so basically that was a LSTM model, and with the final layer being the dense layer um, with dense layer of one, because I need to say 0 or 1. Uh,
Either matching or not matching.
yes, matching or not matching.
So
So
you trained this on the training data set and tested it on test data set.
yes,
Okay,
so we
fair
divided
enough.
it into two parts, and then
Okay.
this
So
is
so
what.
what was the accuracy you got roughly?
Let me open that.
Yeah, sure.
At
That's a pretty valid approach. Yeah.
74%.
Hmm.
Which
So
com-
they will keep suggesting you things on, or we can come up with other variations or further additions on LSTM approach on what we can, how we can improve it, right? See, one of the ways is we can identify, we can convert both of them. See, I think somebody said, I think Purnima, you were saying this cosine similarity approach, if I heard correctly. Cosine similarity approach, Pravina. Okay, so cosine similarity approach is quite good, but provided you have very good quality vector, right, conversion. So to cosine similarity, you obviously cannot compare text and text. It doesn't make sense. You need to convert it into vectors or numbers, right? Now there are several
Yes.
ways you can convert things into vectors, including BERT. So including transformers, BERT based things, right? But so transformer pipeline, which the first class, you remember, we did the Q&A model in transformer pipeline, correct? The
Yeah.
transformer pipeline has another feature called convert it into vector, anything, right? So that is one way. And if that is not, I mean, that's just one option. Other option is you can train your own model, maybe train a doc2vec model on entire English Wikipedia. So I have done that in the past. I have trained entire English Wikipedia as a doc2vec model. Doc2vec is like very old. I think almost 7-8 years before, almost a decade now. Doc2vec is very popular. I'm sure you must have heard or used it, right? Word2vec and doc2vec.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe take a Wikipedia model, doc2vec kind of thing, and then convert it into vectors, and then compare, do a cosine similarity, cosine distance, that kind of thing. So all these, especially the BERT-based conversions, because BERT, as you know, by definition, is very good at picking up contexts, right? So BERT, using BERT, whatever you have converted, if you do the cosine similarity, the result would be quite high quality, right? That is one approach. So we have two approaches: LSTM based, where we, or any other deep learning model based, which is good at sequences. Sequential model, deep learning model, which will be trained on this question pairs, then do 1 or 0, or your cosine similarity based approach. Is there a third approach? Can somebody share? So this is helpful when we have a repository of questions already, or we have a labeled bunch of sentences already, and we want to see nearest neighbor approach. Whatever is coming in from the user as a question, we want to match it to our available questions, right, and find the answer. Any other approaches for this question, this problem?
So I have not used any other approach. I use cosine similarity, but by now I was thinking like, can't we use KNN for this? Just a thought.
Yes, KNN can be used as well. Can you go into details how we can use it?
In one of the as I said in humanoid project, one of the project they are using KNN in this. Okay, so what we are doing using KNN is we are finding the score of
Hmm.
particular word and the best match score for that sentence, and it is um, based on the scorecard we are mm, getting the output of that answer.
Okay. So actually, when you are then approach is fine. You're trying to answer. You're trying to get which is the nearest match to your question, and then ranking the answers based on that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Anybody
But that
else?
accuracy will not be as good as cosine similarity as of we have seen.
Yeah. So the reason, no, but very good point. The reason I am discussing or we are discussing so many approaches is maybe one approach doesn't give you good enough accuracy, right? So you would probably have to come up with a hybrid approach because you see you are solving a business problem. You will be solving a chatbot which has to be good, right? It cannot say in every question it will say I don't know, I'm sorry. Can you repeat again, right? So you will have to be that quality is based on all these discussions we are having, right? Of course, framework we can use, right? But yeah, apart from that, we also need to know how do we really make very good quality intelligent chatbots, right? So this discussion is very relevant to it. The more
So
accurate matches, yeah, go ahead.
I have to add this point. Finally, what we have come up with our corpus is the hybrid approach. Like for example, can I explain, sir, if you have time for 2 minutes?
Yes, we have time. I really want to brainstorm and then start today's session because the
Yeah.
assignment
Okay.
everybody has to do, right? So all this is please consider for your assignment. I will also add some points after 5-10 minutes. Yeah, please go
Okay,
ahead.
so the
Yeah.
hybrid approach goes like this. First, we use the cosine similarities,
Mhm.
and we found out, like in 100 question, for example, we are able to get the perfect answer for without any doing any other only pre-processing and cosine similarity. We are able to get for 40% of the answer predictions properly. So we are not going to train those 40% using cosine similarity, that whichever is not able to get the proper prediction, we are putting that particular data set into other like LSTM to train those things. So it is a hybrid what we are thinking of doing in the next
So
iteration of our project.
so in other words, what you're doing is you are depending on a confidence score, right?
Yeah,
Based on some threshold. See, because you don't want a human to look at it and tell you, no, this will go into LSTM. No, right? You have to automate it. Automate it. So you
yeah,
will have to look at the confidence threshold. So you will come up with a confidence level score threshold of the model where or similarity score, and you will say, okay, below this similarity score, I want to feed it to the LSTM model, right? That's what you will be doing.
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's a good approach. Typically, a hybrid approach makes things more strengthened, right? So that's or strengthens things. That's good.
So
That's
just
good.
wanted to understand. So if this type of problem comes, so we have thought of using cosine similarity and LSTM. Do we have any set of algorithm which can go hand in hand in such case of text analytics?
There are, see, similarity is a very fundamental problem in text analytics, right? So, as I said, there are multiple approaches. Converting to vector is definitely a fundamental approach. You need to convert into vector. Now, what model do you use to convert it to vector also depends. Some models are really good. So, if you remember the first class, the first exercise I think we did was using a zero shot model to identify intent, matching intent against the text, right? And we were getting quite reasonable results, right? So the reason for that is without any training, because zero shot model is trained on almost the entire web data, right? Including Wikipedia, I think, everything, right? So converting, I mean, using a model which is pre-trained is giving quite good results nowadays, right? In my experience. So that's something
Yeah.
which you can really try out, where you convert it,
So what we
or
used is Globe. We
yeah,
used and
Glove is also a good way.
we are
It can gives you
thinking
the
of
word
using
vector.
GPT. Yeah, GPT to get to check what is the accuracy with Glow and with GPT. So
Okay, got it. No, that's very good. So that's interesting. So yeah, let me just, before we start today's class, let me just talk about one of the approaches I was suggesting. Uh, so where is the so you would have received the slides for the day. I'm just sharing my screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, sir.
I'll just temporarily create a new slide. Okay. Okay, let's in this empty slide, let's talk about the approach. So you have a okay, let's do a text box. You have entity one, you have an entity two, and you have this relationship between entity one and entity two, right? Now this is your graph will consist of so many pairs and relationships, right? So when your question comes in, you will, I think many of you, I think got it spot on, right? In fact, almost all of you. So I would say, what is the flight cost of between Delhi and Bangalore? Okay, this is the question. So you are expecting your knowledge base to have a node called, or I would say Indigo, maybe, because we typically also maybe ask maybe the Indigo flight cost, maybe, yeah, right? So maybe there is in this, when you, so the first thing you do is you identify entities, right? Now what, why, and who you can identify. What, why, and who are question words, right? So first thing you will do is you will check if this is a proper question or not, right? So if it's like it's just a statement without any what, hi, what, why, how, who, that kind of thing, right? It is probably not a question, right? So that's something, a basic hygiene check, right? uh, you can make a note of it as well. Anyway, this session is being recorded, right? So that is something, first hygiene check, right? Done. It is a question, right? And I leave it upon you how you can check, right? Now, what is the Indigo flight cost between Delhi? Now you do entity extraction or entity identification. So Indigo, okay, is an entity, right? Delhi is location, Bangalore is location, right? A flight cost is an entity, right? Now you will do some kind of identification on what are the information here, and what is the information which is being looked for, right, or which is being searched for. So you will see, okay, you will see where are these entities called Indigo in the graph. Where are the entities? You will search for them, Delhi and Bangalore in the graph, right? So maybe you find something called Delhi entity here, Indigo Delhi, Indigo Bangalore entity here, and the relationship between them is cost of the cost, right? So then you will say, okay, flight cost is the relationship here between them, right? And its value is around 2000 rupees, right? Or whatever, not 2000, nothing is 2000, no, very 5000, 10,000, whatever, right? So flight cost is 10,000. So you get the approach, right? It purely depends on it's, so there are some questions where you will not be able to find an answer, right? So or maybe we can say let's think of a question which does not have enough information. So you also need to identify when the question answering is not possible. How would you do that? Any suggestions here? By the way, this is clear. Is this clear? Sorry. For in entity, go ahead.
No, I said yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So spacey you must have used, right? Spacey is fine. NLTK. Okay, so okay, one thing I forgot mentioning is you need to do entity identification, also known as NER as well, right? So NER. So some of these libraries have, I think, a very limited set of entities, but some of them have a lot of entities, right? So you feel free to choose whatever works for you, or you can custom train your entity as well based on this knowledge graph thing. Sorry, based on the entities you expect the knowledge graph to have, right? So that's one thing. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
one question. So entity E1 and E2 you have defined as E1 is Indigo flight.
So I'm not defining. Your code would pick up these things. I mean, so okay, I will be defining it before I go to the question, in case needed, right? First, I will see. I will run. So the code which last time we did will be identifying entities in your sentences and the relationship between them, right? So, for example, if there is a sentence, right? Maybe here only I will write Indigo flight between Delhi and Bangalore costs 7,500. Okay, maybe, right? Just very simple example. So how would you convert this into a entity relationship? Okay, so maybe you will have Delhi and Bangalore as two locations, location entities as two nodes, and Indigo flight costs. Indigo flight may be the relationship between them. Okay, Delhi and Bangalore. And the value of that relationship or value of that edge might be 7,500 rupees, something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So costs can be picked up as the relationship, again, cost 2,500, right? And Indigo flight between Delhi and Bangalore. So Delhi and Bangalore can be location nodes between Delhi and Bangalore. So the moment you find, again, this is, as I said, this is not, of course, this is not simple. You are identifying entities and creating a graph. There are tools for it as well. I will show some tools to the class today. Not demo them, but show them. Please explore them on your own. There are YouTube videos on guiding you as how to do that as well, right? But entity relationship can be done using those tools as well. But I would encourage you to first do it with Python, right? You will pick up a lot of learnings there. So yeah, so once you're extracting the entities, your graph is in place, then from the question you will extract the entities and you will find out the set of nodes matching the question. Then you will read out what the node is trying to say. So if you say, okay, you find two nodes, Delhi and Bangalore, and you find a node which says flight, probably whatever you try to name it, your code should come to a conclusion like, looks like this relationship entity node pair is answering my question. Let's just print it out. So Delhi Bangalore flight cost is 7,500. That's what you will print out. Okay. So you will have to match entity and relationship which you extract from the question. Sorry, here, with the entity relationship you have in your database or your repository, whatever, and then try finding the nearest answer. Of course, if there is a poor match, you will not show it. If there's a good match according to your match, and again, this might be any kind of match, right? Entity to entity simple match, relationship to relationship simple match, or whatever match, you are free to choose, and then just throw this question or read this question out. So hope this approach makes sense. It's very similar to what most of you said, right? Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, where my struggle was to, in case last time we tried to define the entities. I mean, not exactly.
Yeah, that was hard coded. Let's. So I'm just saying I'm not limiting you with that code. Feel free to explore libraries like NER, Spacey, NLTK. Okay.
Right. Got it.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying that it is not possible to do with that code, but it will involve a lot of observing the data. Why to do that when you already have custom trained things, right? So, but also there is a way when you have flight data set, you can create a custom NER with Spacey where you can tag it and then train it, right? So that's fine. Okay, but if somebody is anyway not is not happy with Spacey and LTK, feel free to create your own tagging algorithm. Not no issues in that, right? Bonus points for that as well, actually, because it's not straightforward for sure. Okay, so I hope this answers your question about the assignment, correct? We shall start the class. I'll just delete the slide. Going in slideshow mode. Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
So the this is so quick recap. We covered several things in the last class. So but the key idea was this knowledge graph, right? And as you can see, this is an example of a knowledge graph. So you need to find it's showing some relationship. So each of these philosophers, famous philosophers, has a node which says type of relationship, right? The philosopher is a node. So philosopher is a Plato, right? So in your case also, if Indigo is the brand name of a flight, then your or a flight company or a airlines, you can have a node which says airlines as an entity and is a Indigo. So Indigo, right? Kind of. So that kind of thing can be done in your graph. Right? So Plato is a philosopher. Aristotle is so Aristotle should have that relationship as well. It's not going here. Now the other relationship you see here is Socrates influenced Plato. Socrates born in Athens. Athens is located in or place. So again, the main class for this is place. So I'm not saying that you come up with main classes also, but this is another approach which can help ease your problem. So if you have a question, name the philosopher who was born in Athens. Can you answer that using this graph easily? You will first access the philosopher. Okay. You will find out all the links to the philosopher, and then all the links you will check where is any node which is connected with Athens with a born in relationship. That will answer your question, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
and
sir.
this check is not that difficult because hard part is you need to. I mean, you have already converted. I mean, I would say not difficult, but yeah, it's okay. It's kind of a medium side kind of problem. It depends on the quality of your knowledge graph, right? If you have defined everything nicely, you can get okay philosopher. You will check for another node. Okay, so okay, who all the nodes rather. You will get 15 nodes. You will say okay, out of these 15 nodes, who has this Athens connection, right? And that's it. That's your answer. And from the question, you identify nodes called philosopher, which is this node here. Okay, let me highlight. Okay, so this is your okay. This is not a good highlighter. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the philosopher is an entity. You got this. Athens is an entity. You got this, right? So you need to find out. Okay, philosopher related to all the people, and or philosopher definitely is not directly related to Athens, right? But what philosopher is having like one node in between Athens, and that node is Socrates, right? So that's probably your answer. Yeah. So hope it is enough clarity on how to approach. And it's definitely not like it's not an open-ended chatbot, but for task-related chatbots, it's very good. In fact, some of these techniques are being used by Siri and Cortana and Amazon Alexa, right? Have you seen any example where you can feel that they are using a knowledge graph to answer your question? Okay, so if you
So,
ask, yeah, go ahead.
so we are working on Lex. Of course, not me directly though, but we are
Mm-hmm.
developing a FHIR system for one of our client on
Uh-huh.
AWS.
Uh-huh.
So FHIR is very knowledge graph driven approach because it's a federated health interoperability system. So, like you showed that hence right. So we are built. There's a. I mean, of course, the integrated part of the team is building a knowledge graph on Snowmade codes. After the COVID, there is a lot of changes on the Snowmade codes. So what they're doing essentially is trying to knowledge graph all the Snowmade codes and give the answer on the lex. So when a general practitioner asks a question on a specific Snowmade code for a specific insurance product in the US, so it maps the right answer with the right plan and gives the answer, which technically was not possible previously. I think
Okay.
that's a production example which we are currently working on.
That's great. That's great. So yeah, that's definitely a good approach, right? Again, as I said, there are limitations here. It cannot answer the questions. You will have to have a hybrid approach where some part of your
Yes.
knowledge base, now some part of your chat is knowledge based, and some part of your is the training based, intent identification based, right? For which you have very many options. You have this Rasa framework, Dialogflow, Amazon Lex. Then you can create your own using the zero shot model, like the first one which we showed in the class or discussed in the class. And also you will have advanced deep learning intent identification things, which we'll cover in next class and today's class some portions, right? So multiple approaches. Hope everyone has now a basic idea on what are some of the approaches we take. Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So let's talk about menu based or different types of chatbots, right? I would ask you, in each case, I would ask you to give me examples of chatbots which you have seen or have you interacted with them, something similar. So menu based chatbot. We all have dealt with menu based chatbots, right? Maybe not on, maybe on the web as well, or maybe, or definitely on the phone. Can you give me an example? Very good example. Menu based chatbot.
IVR, for example,
Correct.
press
Correct.
one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, press one is a good example. Otherwise, all the banks which you call, I mean, all credit card, bank related queries, they definitely they have so many options, right? They can't be blamed. They can't let everybody to the contact center. It will obviously a lot of resources are consumed there. So they will have as much as possible bifurcation into separate streams where maybe a agent is not required and the tool itself can answer you, right? So that's what menu based chatbot definitely does. Okay, so I'm just switching to next slide for some time. In order to show this, so this is typically maybe a menu based chatbot, okay, and also can be an IVR, for example. Chat start. Are you looking to save on your monthly loan payment? Yes, great. No, I like paying more. You're not sure who will select that, but yeah, there is an option. No problem. When you are ready to consolidate your loan, save money, giving you. Thanks for chatting with us. So you see the first menu ended here, first path, right? This yes continues. What are you looking for specifically? Now again, it is menu. Okay, better rates, loan consideration, all of the above, right? None of the above. Again, it ends. Can you pass along? Now they are asking. Okay, if they have given one intent here. I mean, they want to ask this question, but they're not finding in our thing. So then they take a call and say, okay, I will connect you to someone. Okay, so that ends here. So that's what. So this is typically IVR flow. Now some of the IVR definitely are kind of purposely very time consuming. They don't want you to really reach a customer support agent or human agent very quickly for obvious reasons. But yeah, you all have are familiar with this, I'm sure, right? How would you design such a system?
Uh, Natively we can use the simple if and else. What is the input? Is the input is 1 or 2? Based on that, workflow will start.
Okay. Yeah, but no, that's correct. But this whole flow, somebody has to sit and plan it, right? The domain expert, I mean, the practitioner in the domain, the banking expert, they have to do it, right?
Yes.
And how would they do it? Apart from the domain knowledge, they can also look at past data, right?
Right. Sir.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely past data is very important when you're designing such things. Never ignore the past data. It can be in form of call logs. You will have to see call logs. What are people looking for when they are talking about monthly loan payments also. And of course, your business objectives are also driving it. If you want to drive more credit card sales, obviously within somebody is calling for a account balance, you can always insert something saying while you are waiting for it, can I talk to you about a credit card, right? That's very separate objective. But again, a chatbot can have those objectives built about upselling things, right?
So this looks just to understand. This looks very similar when we design some website. There are two things. One is what users are looking for. We keep those pages up or keep those menu up, and what we want to show to the user or we want to sell something. These two things are always at the top of the hierarchy, and we have the workflows based on. We have the whole hierarchy based on the workflows. uh, they will have some common points, then the hierarchy will go on. So is it something similar or there are some more to this knowledge
No,
graph?
definitely. This is similar to a website. Only change is that in website you can always come back. Here, once you select something, it will continue on that path, right? So it will again. Otherwise, you will have to just call again or chat again, right? But definitely, it's a website kind of organization where hierarchy is there. At the top level, they're asking you a basic question, right? So this question might have started if somebody clicked on loan related query, right? That's something they have clicked on at a high level query, and then they have reached this set of menu items. Okay. Any other
So I
questions
have
before
a
I move back?
question here, sir.
Yes, yes.
So when doing this menu based approach, so it has to persistently know what are all the questions previously asked. Like when it comes to email me or call me, it has to remember the loan consolidation. It has to remember chat start. Yes, all those things it has to remember, right? So that intent.
Okay, so in this case, actually, the intent identification is very minimal because you anyway once you go to a path, the intent is clear because you have your or once the chatbot is on a particular path, it only reaches there because you have selected something which led it to you, right? So none of the above. No, I like paying more. They are probably defined answers, right? So you don't have to do anything much here in terms of intent identification.
No,
It
no,
is
no.
pretty much
Not intent. Like it has to remember when it comes to email me. So it has to remember what are all the previous questions person is asking by the chatbot. It has to remember
yes,
persistently.
yes,
It
yes,
has.
yes, yes. So that's a good point here. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. So as a designer, if you're designing this, once you reach this path, again, let me highlight the laser. Once you reach here, and if you email someone here, the email should have a context saying you want to have a what do you want to do regarding monthly loan payments, because this is none of the above, right? Now for a loan consolidation, if you reach here, the email should be starting with something like, thank you for approaching us for a loan consolidation, here are the options. Okay, so definitely your logic which takes you under this path will keep track of what path led you here, loan consolidation, right? So it will
Mm.
definitely be, and of course, if somebody it is passed on to a human chatting person, right? They should be given enough clue that okay, this person came through loan consolidation path, so that they know what they are looking for. Okay. But yeah, we all know that they don't implement. Many of the companies don't implement like this. The agent will again ask you, "Why have you called today? Happy to help." Right? Again, you'll have to repeat everything.
Okay.
But ideally, to avoid that, please take care. Please, when passing on to a human agent, tell them the path, saying loan consolidation. It is a very good experience. I, as a customer, would be very happy if somebody remembers all my 5 minutes hard work. Right?
Yeah.
Hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
Any other question?
So Pravina here again. So
Yeah.
this use case comes under the graph, knowledge graph based or rule based also it can be, right?
Yeah, it can be rule based as well. So there are multiple classifications. Right now, what we are talking about is the overall experience of the chatbot. What kind of logic it is working on, rather not experience, logic of the chatbot. Okay, so it is, yeah, it is. This is rule based for sure.
Okay.
It can be graph as well, for because you can have this I mean, these as nodes where chat starts, and then it's like a directional graph. Everything flows in one direction. Yeah, mostly rule based here. Menu app chatbots are rule based.
Okay.
Coming back to keyword based chatbot is very basic chatbots, right? Something like probably the what is that airline we are doing in the first class? I think Vistara, right? Vistara is slightly advanced, but most of it was keyword based. It is so if you talk about what is the stock price of maybe Infosys today, right? So stock price would trigger, and Infosys probably is or what is the stock price if you ask, right? So stock price would trigger a response, and it is looking for a stock price word, right? But the challenge here is you will have to take care of a lot of synonyms and other misspelling. So somebody forgot to write say I in the price PRC, you will have to take care that stock price is still being mentioned even though there is a spelling mistake. So keyword based, so it responses when it finds certain keywords in there. Now how it responds is completely different. It can do I mean, it is pre-populated, it has a repository, it can use that, or it can or it can generate something, right? That completely different. But keyword based chatbot typically are simple chatbots which have ready-made responses for key based on keyword they see in input. Any questions? Okay. Now the next step is contextual chatbot. Okay. Now what is the difference between a keyword and a contextual chatbot? It's the same example I referred earlier. Uh, stock prices, spelling mistake, you need to take care of. Contextual, not so much like, I mean, not that difficult. Actually slightly complex to implement, but in terms of taking care of what you're writing, you need not think so much about it, right? Because this, as the name suggests, takes care of the entire context. Okay, so it will tell you, okay, if somebody is asking in a different way, how is the market doing today, right? So it will understand that this is probably in the context of what are the stock prices today, or what is the Sensex value today, right? Because it is good at context, no matter what words do you use. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then virtual assistant, I mean, many of us are using probably. Anybody who wants to share any experience with virtual experience assistance chatbot? Any interesting one relevant to the chatbot conversational agent? Any limitations you see in Alexa, Google, or any other, or Siri? Or is it like really working very well for you guys? Any challenges you see in virtual assistants which you have seen in daily life?
These are these. I mean, Alexa. I may be wrong, but seems limited to what it has been trained earlier. If you ask something beyond it, or maybe something similar to that,
Hmm.
Alexa is not able to answer.
So, so actually, in my experience, what I've seen is Siri sometimes has issues where it is not able to identify or understand what we are saying. Alexa is quite good. I mean, recently, maybe initially, I agree with you. Recently, not recently. Initially, when it started, Alexa had issues with identifying what we were saying, right? I think they had either not trained on Indian accents or Indian training data. Probably, I'm just guessing. I don't know, right? But Alexa had that. But now Alexa has this ability of learning, right? So this last category, which I say self-learning chatbot, right, which is actually learning, taking feedback, right? Alexa is one of those better chatbots, which are, or agents, I would say, not chatbot, which are doing it, assistants, right? So Alexa now has, in my opinion, improved a lot. Probably Siri has, again, my experience is has some like way to go, right, for the in that.
Yeah, yes, Ravi sir. So my experience is also from the some 5 years back or 4 years back, to be precise, 4 years back.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that time I think Alexa was probably just starting training using maybe Indian context or Indian data set. Yeah. Okay. By the way, one interesting thing wanted to talk about virtual assistant. First, a question for all of you, right? You have you noticed how do you invoke a virtual assistant? If you just ask a question saying what is the weather today, so folks in Bangalore, we definitely ask that question very frequently, right? So for obvious reasons. But how do you invoke? How do you invoke it? Does it always respond to you if you ask a question?
Hey Google, like that we have to tell, I think so, sir.
Yes, yes, brilliant. Yes, exactly. So that's the invoking phrase. You have to invoke it. So in the code backend, there is an invocation phrase, right? So only if it hears that, it will respond to you. Or you can indirectly say, Alexa, please ask weather assistant to tell me the weather of like next 4 weeks. So it is also invoking weather assistant within Alexa. Okay,
Yes, sir.
it
And
started saying behind me. Okay, I'm just hearing the weather report for today. So that's funny.
and continuously responding, then we have to tell shut down Google, like that we have to tell,
Yeah,
sir. Then
yes, yes. Correct. My kids do that a lot. So okay, so that's good. Anybody else? Any interesting experiences with virtual assistants?
Maybe out of context, but they keep listening to us. Keyword invoking is
Uh,
ensure they are responding,
yeah.
and even if we don't invoke the keyword, they will keep listening to what we said. May not
Yeah.
respond because of legal aspects.
Yes, that's so again the see this is something which a lot of people were worried about when they were talking. I mean, there were a lot of articles saying Alexa is listening. In fact, there are my friends have mentioned to me saying that if you're talking about something, probably next day you start seeing ads on that when you visit some websites, right? So that was really scary. But I think now, again, to the best of my knowledge, I am not definitely an expert keeping track of it. I think there are very strict rules against this privacy, and also Amazon has clarified, saying, and other companies, not only Amazon, that they don't listen, or they don't store the this voice data, right, unless it's like for their. So if you keep ordering maybe chocolates very frequently, Alexa will learn that, and it will suggest to you maybe some. If you ask for a restaurant, it will suggest a restaurant which has is famous for chocolates, right? So that kind of thing it will definitely do. That is pure machine learning at play, right? They want to improve your experience, so that's something. But listening to conversation, I think companies are now making sure that they are not doing it. It's pretty illegal, right? Quite illegal.
Yes, but what I understand that Alexa does that. I mean, they have also declared that we are.
Yeah, but yeah, probably there is some lot of checks and balances. Again, I'll have to read it up. There is now, as you know, there is this huge aspect of fairness in AI/ML, privacy in AI/ML, right? So definitely, it's not someone cannot get away with those things, right? I think I mean, I'm not sure. You'll have to look it up in free time. When there was this legal case where Alexa's recording was going to be used as a proof, right? So that's that's something, another example where the assistant is come handy for a legal purpose, right? That's interesting. So I'll try to find that news article and share it with the class in the break. Okay, so yeah, the last option there, sorry, the last thing here is somewhat again of maybe uh, of the virtual assistant. There are some which are self-learning chatbots, right? Even Rasa has a self-learning module, or where you can give feedback, it will learn. But it is clear. I mean, it is as the word says, they keep improving with the help of feedback, right? That's what. Any questions before we move on to Rasa? Okay, so Rasa is an open source chatbot framework. Quick recap from that day itself. It has two main components, Rasa NLU and Rasa Core. NLU, everyone understands, right? I'm sure you guys have NLP as earlier course. So NLU is natural language understanding, correct? Have you done something in NLU prior to this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, so NLU is, so you are right now what you're doing in this course is involves NLU. So you are doing NLU. So answer will be yes after you finish the course, right? So NLU is the interpreter which processes the user input and identifies the intents and extracts the entities from it. So if you remember the first class where I gave an example of a chatbot I was working on earlier, and I invited you guys to give your suggestions, right? Or share your views on how to implement it. Again, that's an NLU because it is trying to understand a natural language question and giving answer. Every chatbot is doing some kind of NLU, right? It is trying to understand human text, right? So that's why it's called NLU, natural language understanding. Hope that makes it clear, right? The Rasa core is the whole. If you remember the first day slide where we had a process flow of the chatbot. Now there was something called as dialogue tracking, right? Dialogue management, if you remember, right? Now Rasa core does all those jobs. It receives the output from Rasa NLU, and based on these details, Rasa core part selects the appropriate reply and sends it back to the user as the bot reply. That's the whole idea behind two sections of Rasa, NLU and core. So what is the weather like tomorrow? It goes to Rasa, then NLU identifies the intent is weather query for 93%. Entities is date. It identified the entity was date and tomorrow. Tomorrow is entity as well, 98%, right? Now your database supplies this information, and Rasa core then identifies what is the location. Location action is missing, right? So that is location entity is missing, right? So this is an example what you need to take care of when you are doing your own chatbot. You need to decide, okay, when somebody is asking a weather query, definitely we need to have a location, or we need to take a default location, something like that, right? So location question 80%, weather API call 10%. Here it is not making directly weather call to the API because it thinks it is missing a location. So the next query is not the answer but asking where are you based. Now once the user writes that I am based in Bangalore, then it will say okay, intent weather query entities date and location Bangalore. Then it will query the API and then it will give you the answer. Does that make sense? A typical flow. Things were missing are again asked for, right? And once you've asked for that, then only you answer the complete question. Okay, this is like a weather chatbot example.
One question here. So
Mhm.
till what extent this bot will remember the?
No,
I mean,
remember in the sense.
remember the session. I mean, remember the context. So it asked for location in the first
Mhm.
dialogue. Then it got the location. Somebody might have said Karnataka. Then again,
no. So it will. So with one user, everything will be in that session. Everything is stored, right? So it's not like I will today ask the weather, and then I will continue the chat tomorrow, right? So for maybe a fixed amount of time, the session variables are all stored. They are kept alive, so it
okay.
will not forget.
So
Obviously,
then
it doesn't expect people to come back after 2 hours and continue the discussion. It will again say, "Sorry, I did not understand. Can you repeat your question?" That's it.
okay. So again, so till what extent it should contain the particular chat session? I mean, not the duration, but how many
Yeah.
entities, for example.
So,
So the
so
state basically.
okay. So this is something which are multiple options are there. I think Vara Prasad recently said about, so you please keep quiet or shut down Google. That is one option where you specifically are asking it to shut down, or you stop asking questions. After some time, it will stop checking. So you can see in Alexa, if you have the Echo device, a small one, it will start showing a line at the bottom when it is trying to listen or respond to you, right? You must have seen it, right?
Yes.
Even in Siri rotation happens. Small circle rotates at the bottom of the screen, right? So these are indicators that it is still listening mode, right? Or it is responding mode. Okay.
So sorry, I meant that till what extent the state will be maintained. So state might have three, four questions, three, four things.
Yeah, it will try to answer. It will, so unless the session ends, it will keep the state active, right? And session can end in multiple ways. It can be done by the user. It can be the non-responsiveness of the user. Maybe the chatbot is programmed to say, it's been 5 minutes since you responded. If there is nothing else, I will close the session, right? Something like that. It's completely up to you, designing based. You can check in Alexa how fine.
So
Uh,
So, sir, for example, we are maintaining the state. The first input was the weather tomorrow. The second was the state. Third was the city. So all
uh-huh.
three variables we are maintaining in the state. So state might we might like to have particular number of variables in the state, so that
Mm-hmm.
bot will remember only this to this extent for the optimal performance. So anything like this we should consider while designing the chatbot, or we can keep remembering the state till the hard timeout is there,
Okay.
or the user has ended the session. Either of these
Okay.
two cases.
Okay. Got it. So can you repeat your question, please, once more?
Yeah. Sorry, I took bit more time to
No problem. No problem. Go ahead. Go
question.
ahead.
So, uh, so while opening the discussion, the state will be mentioned, will be saved or persisted.
Yeah.
So, state will have certain variables. The value of
Yeah.
this.
Correct. I get your question now. So it keeps on filling these slots. It has identified a weather query, right? And for weather query, it has definite entities which it looks forward to before answering the question. So you have provided it the date entity, which is tomorrow, but you have not provided it location entity, which it needs to query the API, weather API, which is the database. Okay.
Getting it, sir. So, we need to design it before. I
Yeah,
mean, what?
I will show you today in Google Dialogflow, which is slightly less. I mean, it doesn't involve any coding, but still definitely it has a good learning of all these steps where you can specify what needs to be in there when you are creating a chatbot. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any question on Rasa before we move to? Yeah. So I think we will do Rasa now. Anybody any questions before we do the hands-on session?
No, nothing from.
Okay. So I would request a volunteer. I'll stop sharing my screen to please share. If somebody is not doing on Collab, can you share your screen? We'll install Rasa from scratch and do. If you already have Rasa, then not an issue. But yeah, we can do some Rasa exercises. The last time we had some issues with Collab, so I want to avoid that, and we'll just quickly understand Rasa. Again, Rasa will not go like really deep because Rasa, the best source to learn is, I will show you the best source to learn Rasa from as well. But let's start Rasa on our systems. Anybody who has, please volunteer to share screen.
I can do that if
Sure,
sharing my screen now.
sure. But the collab has issues, Sandeep.
No, I'm just opening Jupyter Notebook.
Okay. So your Rasa was installed last time?
I don't think so, but I can check.
Okay, then you can just do a simple one line called pip install Rasa.
Yeah, I do that.
Sir, you
That's it.
told in a virtual environment you have to install like that also.
Yes. That's a very good suggestion. Thank you for reminding me. Virtual environment keeps you safe. It will not mess up any other projects you are doing.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yes.
best. All the work we do in companies, definitely, unless you have like a custom platform where you're using it, they also provide you. Virtual environment is must because you never know any new module you install for your chatbot, it might start breaking up other things. Okay, it's very simple. Pip install Rasa. Then just do a Rasa init.
Do you want me to do it in virtual or can I just do it here?
In command line, I'm fine with it. That looks very nice actually.
It's still installing. Error pip Japanese dollar currently. Further requires not installed, but I think this should be fine.
Okay, yeah, that's a warning. Okay, so yeah, you have Python. So no import. Just do Rasa init. Welcome to Rasa. So this is the page you will get. Initial project will be created. So project will be created. We'll definitely see that. Please enter a path where this project will be created. Default current directly. Yes, you can do yes. Okay, why? Sorry. Yeah, okay. No, it created a path. Yes, actually. So you, okay. No worries. That's not an issue. Okay. So
Where has it
yeah,
created?
you see the last option called yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you go to CDS? Yeah. So okay, you see actions config YML, right? So
Yeah, here it is.
brilliant. So okay, please open NLU. Okay, okay. Let's do this. Thanks, Sandeep. We'll take a 15 minutes break now. I would request others to just reach this stage where we are here, right? On your system, right? Just install Rasa and do a Rasa init, right? And we will discuss these files in detail to understand how it ties up to this discussion we were having, right? Let's take a 15 minutes break, 15-20 minutes break. Okay. Thank you. Hi everyone.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yeah, hello. Hi. So yeah, we'll start once Sandeep is back. We'll start sharing his screen.
I'm back. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm just
Sure.
getting
Take
some
your
water.
time. Take your time. Yeah.
Sir, meanwhile, this is Purnima. So I can share my screen for the assignment.
Sure. Sure.
Let me know if my screen is visible, sir.
I can see.
So this is what we were doing in the last lesson, sir. I was able to do the POS tagging using NLTK. And then I used the CFIDF vectorizer and cosine similarity for ranking the scores. So, but when I tried to ask the questions right here, if you can see, tell me about the history of Wall Street. So it is telling like it is not able to recognize properly. But when I ask what is Wall Street named after, I am able to get the answer. And then I just tried what is Wall Street. Then it asked me, and then I tried with two different words like where is Wall Street located and where is Wall Street situated. But here, if you see right, it is like showing me this answer, but which is not up to the mark, right? Like that is what I was uh, talking in the morning. So
Correct.
why
Correct.
is
Yeah.
situated not able to understand? I was not able to understand. I actually tried so thing.
So
But
if I
yeah,
so
where
so
the
so
question was so precise, it is giving me exact answer.
yeah.
But yeah.
Sir, I also faced the exactly same issue, so I didn't share it.
Yeah. So see the no good attempt here. I would first call out that, right? Good attempt. Now what you are doing, Purnima, if I understand correctly from the code you showed me, is you are converting question into like cleaning it up and then matching the question with the content lines, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So in that way you're not converted it into a entity relationship pair, correct? So that's one thing. Anyway, the history of Wall Street is an open-ended question, because unless there is a sentence which talks about history of Wall Street started in 1932 with blah blah blah, right? So that is why it is not able to match, because it is looking for nearest answer to your question. Now, if your question is pretty spot on, it would be able to match with the answer which is containing the same keywords. So that's what it is doing. It is quite good, right? But if you ask questions like which location or what okay, maybe specific, so does it work for every specific question? Like if I ask for any date related question, can you check with a date related question?
But isn't this a naive approach? I mean, because
Yeah,
if
it is
the
not breaking up into entities and relationships,
entity,
right?
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
it's
so
not
for task
extracting the
oriented, so
entity.
it will give you extra information as well, because it is matching the whole line. So if the line has extra information, it will give you it is solving your purpose to some extent, right? So what is Bank of Manhattan company? And the answer on a graph entity would be it is a bank. Okay, but here it is trying to match the text, so it is done in a different using a different process, right? So it's not an issue, but if you do it using the entity relationship pair approach, you would get more direct answers for questions which are really pointed. Okay, so try that approach as well. This approach, there are benefits, there are challenges. I just covered it. Hope that answers your question, right? It is
Yes.
matching with the nearest line in the sentence in the Wikipedia article, which is closest to your question, and then giving it, right?
Correct, sir.
Okay, if the output, have you given a threshold on when the output is shown?
No, sir, I have not restricted. That is why when I asked about the architecture, right, it is giving me everything like with the reference notes, everything. I asked about it.
Okay, no. So then, in that case, how is it? So in some cases, it is saying have no idea. How is it? How is it doing that?
So if the matching is not there, no, then when there is no output, it is just printing have no idea. That's it.
No, but matching it will give you some score at least, even if it is very bad match. So are you like doing something like that? Just wanted to know, out of curiosity.
Here I have used this cosine similarity where I am just taking only point 3 and
Okay, okay.
above that.
Point three is your threshold. So point
Yeah,
three is your threshold or the upper limit or lower limit rather. If only above this match, you will take it. Okay, got it. Okay, so Purnima, no harm in doing this approach, but I have requested the class to take the entity relationship approach and then try answering questions. Okay, so please have a
yeah,
look at
sure.
that approach. Yeah, this is nothing wrong in this approach. It has its own challenges, it has its own benefits. Okay,
Sure.
a good attempt here on trying to make a basic chatbot. That's fine. But it is actually, see, when you are converting it into a pause tag, you are not using that information here, right? What I'm understanding, you are converting it and then you are not using it, the pause tag, correct? Sorry,
I
not
am
pause tag.
using the,
Sorry, you need to do a named entity recognition, and then try to see how it matches your knowledge entity. This entity relationship pairs extracted earlier, right? That's what pause tag is
because
fine.
in
Pause tag,
TF, yeah, in POS tag, I am just using that as the input for the TF-IDF factorizer.
correct, correct,
Then
correct. I
I,
understand. Understand. You are taking a cosine similarity approach, which is fine, right? Which is you are getting the answers from the text for sure, right? Now, and okay, so let me tell you what is maybe one of the issues you will face. Uh, you might get some lines which are not talking about the answer but are probably similar, right? So maybe you can maybe if you ask about when was or okay some about some person, when was Barack Obama born, right? So it might start give you an answer which has lines like Barack Obama and his and like other presidents was born in USA, right? That line might also start figuring, right? But if you take a entity based thing, right, and we will connect when with the word when with a time, right? When means a time is being asked, right? So you will answer in a time kind of entity, so that will avoid that issue where you are giving extra information which is not wanted. Hope that clarifies, right?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, but again, calling it out, good attempt here, and really I like the initial approach here, right? Just maybe changes required to use the entity thing. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
this is something which is again a attempt at solving the problem differently. Good work, thank you. Again, simple approach, but looking quite okay. So yeah, back to the Rasa thing.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Okay, after Rasa, I will show you the whole class here. Some tools for this entity relationship pair. Please explore it on your in your own time. It's very useful. Some of them are like really well known. Yeah, okay, you are in the yeah. So if you can open this, is there NLU.md file is not there? Yeah, yeah, NLU.yml. It should be MD actually. Okay, maybe this is the latest version of Rasa. Okay, so yeah, can you just keep it here? So class, hope everyone is doing this. They installing pip install Rasa and then just do Rasa init. These folders will be created. Now under data, this file called nlu.yaml, yeah, YAML, right? In some older version of the Rasa, it is called nlu.md as well. So not an issue. So it has these intents, right? So intent greet, it will so whenever a user talks to the chatbot with any of these phrases, hello there, good morning, good evening, moin, hey there, let's go, hey dude, it is considered a greet type of intent. Now what it will do, we will see later. I will show you a file where it decides everything is written here, okay, in these files. So we will just go through them slowly and understand how this chatbot framework works. Now, if you can scroll down, please. Goodbye intents has words like goodbye, Affirm intent has positive words. Indeed, of course, that sounds good. Deny has no, never, I don't think so. Mood great has amazing, feeling like a king, wonderful, blah blah. Mood happy, mood unhappy, again, negative words. Bot challenge. Are you a bot? Are you a human? Now, so when working with Rasa, this file you will create and you will give examples of intents which you expect. So for example, in an airline, you will have an intent which says PNR inquiry. Maybe I'm just guessing, right? Or I'm just thinking aloud. And in that, you will give an example saying, can you please give me the flight status? Please give me the flights. Please tell me, know, let me know if the flight is delayed, right? Something like that. Yeah, you can add that PNR inquiry. So Sandeep, this is from the user, not the chatbot. So that's something which you will ask. So you will probably ask flight status or something. So you'll say, is my flight delayed? Right. So this intent might not be PNR inquiry. It might be flight status or something. If you can change it, and then the chatbot will respond. That we'll see where the response happens. You can say flight status. Okay, and you can say here, what is the status of my flight?
That's a question asked by the user, right?
Yeah. This is completely the user responses, or sorry, user questions. This NLU.YAML is
Yeah. Okay.
intent and examples. Okay. And as you,
Is
yeah, what is my flight status?
status?
Yeah, something like that. Let's leave it at that. You can ask any other question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No. So flight status. That's very good, very good. Yeah. So you understood. So this is so class. Why we are going through this in detail is every tool which I will show you today, which is a framework, interestingly works on the same concepts, right? So once you are clear with this, any tool in the world, you will start using it immediately. Anyway, those tools are really, they are like frameworks. All you have to do is look at the tutorial. But yeah, so this is nlu.my YML file, YAML file. Everyone is clear about this. This is all the questions and intents a user is supposed to ask. Okay, done. Let's open stories.yaml on the left hand side. Yeah. Okay.
Sir,
Now,
these parts to we added ourselves, flight status.
yeah,
Um,
if you can just as an example add it to nlu.yaml, and we can let me just go through. We can do that later as well, Soumya. Let me just show you how the whole flow happens. Okay, with this. Okay. Now, what is the story which you see? Sandeep has already opened this. Let's see a happy path story. The happy path happens like this. You do. It's a happy path story, right? Story is nothing but a series of user inputs, chatbot response. User input, chatbot response. User input is shown as intent. Chatbot response is shown as action. So user input starts with a greet, okay, in the first line 7. Then the chatbot says utter greet. Then user input says mood greet. Then chatbot says utter happy. Now, what is utter greet and utter happy? Mood greet and greet we know from the nlu.yaml file. Greet can be hi, hello, why, other things. You already open in the tab, next tab. First tab is already nlu.ml, right? Yeah. So greet is can any of these words. So user suppose starts with any of these words, go to stories. Then the chatbot will utter greet. Now open in their actions file, there will be a actions.ml or something. Just open. Okay, I think it's in no, it's in not actions. No, not this one. I think it is in domain.yml file. Just see one of these config or maybe in the config. Okay, domain.yml has this information. So utter greet means, hey, how are you? Okay. Now utter once after that you Sandeep, can you open the stories again? Yeah, open to the side. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, so now somebody says, the chatbot says, hey, how are you? Now you say mood great. Mood great means I am great, something like that in the NLU ML file. Then it will say utter happy. Utter happy means great, carry on. Okay. So that's the whole function of stories.yaml, right? It is taking user inputs. It is saying what is the typical path looks like, a sad path. It is guiding the chatbot, right? And it is not that you have to write 1,000 stories like this. You can write a few examples like this and the chatbot will be trained on what to do. Okay. Everyone is clear about this, how to read this?
Yes, sir. One question. So, how the flow is, the stories.yaml will be picked up first and then domain.yaml.
Config.ml will be picked up first. Config.ml, can you kindly open, please, on the left hand side? It has everything here. Okay. It says what are the policies, what are the pipelines, lot of pipelines. Most of them you would know. They are text cleaning pipelines, right? And if you go down, these are some of the configurations for NASA core. Some of the policies are TED. This is showing TED policy, but in general, you also have a policy called Keras policy. So what that means is it is using Keras for all your model training in way, right? So here it is called TED. Now I'm not sure what a TED policy is, but in the past I have used by default Keras policy. So TED policy must be something to do with. Yeah, can you look at TED policy, please?
So my embedding dialog policy multitask architecture next prediction of integration.
Yeah, okay. So it's transformer based policy. Okay. So Keras anyway, they are not using anymore. So Keras was like maybe in the past 1 or 2 years back. Now they are using TED policy, which is transformer based policy. Okay. So that basically means in simple English, they are using transformers under the hood for doing all those processing. Okay. Okay. So that's about the config.yaml file, Soumya. That answers your question. Now the domain.yaml file has all these responses which the chatbot can utter, right? Okay, so if you we already saw we were creating. Don't do it now, Sandeep, but just discussing. We can do it later. We created one flight status intent in NLU.iml and gave one example. So corresponding, we can now go to domain.yaml and put actions to this. What is your PNR number? And then go to stories.yaml and put the whole story saying status stories flight status, and it will say action flight query action, then sorry, intent flight status query. Action would be something like PNR number query, then intent would be PNR number utter, and then action would be here is your status, right? So this is where you will create a story. Hope that is clear. So these three or four files will have all the background information which the chatbot needs to be trained. Making some sense?
Yes, is. I am wondering, is it so simple or is just seeming simple?
No. So see, it looks simple because the hard work has been done in the back end, right? They
Yes.
have they have trained a model, and now it is being, once you give these examples, it is being trained on this, including the past data, what it is you are giving. I mean, whatever it was already trained on, you are just helping it by giving some examples, right? And then it will use the underlying models to respond based on whatever you enter. Yeah, so as you know, in transformers and all modern deep learning models, you have these right, you have these techniques where you can already, it's an already trained model, if you feed some input, it is good at finding out, okay, what's the closest match or what it is matching to, right? So all these things help it to map, right? So stories.yaml basically drives it. It tells you, okay, utter, greet, mood, and happy, right? So that's why it is so easy, looking so easy, but under the hood there are already complex models doing your job. Okay. Yeah, endpoints.yaml is good to know. We will not be discussing it. It's about deploying this chatbot. It will have all those details. Okay, so best way to learn Rasa is what Sandeep just opened right now, the rasa.org website, right? Left hand side documentation there is amazing. Like within couple of weeks, if you spend like a few hours every day on this, you will become a Rasa master, actually, master of everything. This is regularly updated. It has everything, including introduction and all whatnot, right? I'm sorry, installation to start with, and then other things as well. Okay, so Sandeep, back to the code. Let's do one interactive session, and we'll see how this happens, right? So let's do a rasa.train first on the command line. Yeah, command line rasa.train. Yeah, not dot. Sorry, not dot. Rasa train. Sorry, rasa space train. It's,
So now we need to include the action also, right? For whatever we have done for NLEO. Same in the domain.yml also we need to have
no, no, no. But I mean, for me, it was actually doing a train, unless I have. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, rasa train is actually a valid command.
maybe we need to go inside. Okay, it's the same
Yeah,
path,
maybe
right?
the path has an issue. So I'm just pasting the command line interfaces, right? Command line interface commands. Rasa init. Okay, do you want to do a rasa init first once? But anyway, that has been created.
So Rasa train seems valid, sir. I tried on Colab. It's working. So it means it is valid command.
No, here also it will work. Just
Yeah.
let. Okay, config. You want to get config.yml because it's in the same folder anyway. Because once you do rasa train, it will train a model and save it in a particular folder. Are you inside the yes folder, Sandeep, which was created? Oh, you created a new folder. Okay.
This is your Apple M1, Sandeep?
And there's some issue with here. I'm not sure what is happening. Illegal hardware instruction is a MacBook specific rasa command.
I feel it is specific to M.
See, once you train the model, yeah, maybe once you train the model, you can call rasa shell and it will open an interactive shell for you. So I'm because your model is not trained, I'm sure rasa shell will also not work. Can you just try that once? Rasa shell space shell shell shell. Model does not exist. Oh, okay. Or specify with minus minus model. Okay. No, but that acquires. So not sure what is happening here. Anybody else who's not on Collab and is able to train the model, can you help us, please?
Anyone wants to share the screen, then I can just unshare if anyone has got it.
Yeah, somebody can share the screen for whom the Rasa train is working.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
Please go ahead. Yeah, here it is working. So Sandeep, you just check. Maybe we can post on
Yeah, I'll
forums
check.
if it's not solving.
I'll
Because
check that.
it should definitely have a rasa.train working. That's a normal. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let us know once you are solve it. The bot
Yeah.
wants to run utter read. Correct. Yes. Oh, you are in interactive session, I think. Santosh.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, interactive is the learning. It's slightly advanced. We'll come to it later. The basic, if you can do a basic one, Rasa cell, just yeah. Rasa interactive is nothing but it takes your feedback. If it is asking, I will run goodbye message, you will say no. It will learn that okay, don't say goodbye after maybe a hi message, something like that. It will keep learning. Okay, so Rasa
Training,
shell.
everything is done, sir.
Don't
In my
train
case.
again. But, yeah,
Yeah.
but sometimes training. When do you need to train? So, for example, we added some lines in all the files regarding PNR booking, right? Flight status. Then we'll definitely need to train. Otherwise, if you train, it will say you now do train. It will say everything is the same. No need to train. Do Rasa train. Rasa train. It will not train anything. I'm hoping you've not made a change. If you have made a change, it will train.
Yeah, no, sir. I have not made any change.
Okay, then hopefully this will not train. I think it is checking about any changes. That's why it's taking time probably. But it should not take so much time for sure. Collab folks, any issues or you are able to run?
I was able to run. Only challenge is that running that localhost URL. So
Localhost URL need not run. You can, oh, the shell will not run there. No, it will take you to localhost URL.
yes,
Yeah, that's the challenge we are facing last time also.
yes.
I checked on the web. They are suggesting some workarounds, but I mean, I can point you towards it, but let's not spend time on workarounds for collab. We can actually do it in command line and then deploy it as well.
Yes. So
We will not
command.
deploy today. Yeah, go ahead.
So Rasa shell command line is working. So if I give some input, it is giving me output as well.
Okay. You can you kill the process, Santosh, once here? Oh yeah, see. It was no. It is actually doing something. So maybe it's taking some changes.
Okay.
Rule policy. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
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 it's
now do a
training.
Rasa train again. Now do a Rasa train again immediately. Okay, this is funny. Okay. So the documentation and also my past experience, even if you yeah, so okay, for some reason it is saving again even though there are no changes, which is something which probably they have changed. Okay, no worries. In fact, the number of the model path is also the same. No, it is different actually. If you see,
Yes, sir. It
okay,
is 121 700 here 735, and
okay,
also it is
these
different.
are Rasa version 3 changes for you. Okay, so okay, so Rasa, let's do a Rasa shell. I hope everybody is following and doing it. It's not, I think it's extremely simple. All you have to do is a couple of commands: pip install, then Rasha train, and then Rasa shell. So why is Rasa shell taking so much time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's loading model.
So it loads the model and it will open up the starting window. Is it right?
Ah,
Okay.
correct. No, not an issue. So Ashutosh, and you are able to do this on your system. I remember you don't have a collab. You're not using collab, right?
No, I'm trying in Colab.
Collab, okay. It is working.
Yes, for me it's not.
Okay, good. Okay,
Now it
yeah. So
started.
can you say hi to that? Please, class, please look at the screen. Hi. So it will say utter greet. So it did that. Hey, how are you? Now you say I am happy or whatever, something like that. Happy. I am happy. Okay, so you say here is something to cheer you up. Did that help you? You say no. So it said bye. Okay, so that's the thing. Just say again. Say hi. I'm sad. Yeah, so it needs training. It is not perfect, right? It needs more training. So that's something which we maybe, yeah. You say yes now. Hit carry on. So okay. So at least this is it is understanding this for sure. Okay. So that's a rough overview or like a broad overview of the RASA framework. We will do some exercises here ideally. Maybe let's finish other items. In the second half, we'll do some RASA custom bot creation. There are tons of examples on the web. Very useful. Okay, I have guided capstone projects where the students were doing rasa chatbot on I think okay, what was the other chatbot? One was for I think Reva itself, other I don't remember, but it was an interesting problem. So Rasa is very good framework for chatbot. This is just what it comes with. As I said about flight status and inquiry, you can add all the stories and other things and your chatbot is ready. All you have to do is that, right? So it is in a way very powerful. Okay. So let's park some practical exercise for the second half. Okay. So till now, any questions? Everybody is clear what we did here. You understand? You have a understanding of how Rasa understands your query and how is it able to respond? How those files are helping? Config.yaml. Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
One request, if we can add one more new entry in the NLU and domain and stories, just
Uh-huh.
to.
Okay. So the I think if you can edit your so Santosh, can you edit your this thing the domain.yaml file?
Sure, sir.
Will create or an intent. Sorry, first edit nlu.md file. Let's nlu.yaml file. If you just come out of this one,
Okay.
yeah, you can do a slash stop to exit. Yeah, and now you will have to make changes in config.ml. Then first in NLU where we create an intent. Then in config we need to create an action of what is your PNR number, and then in stories we need to add a story. So these three things we need to do. Let's do that. Okay. So Can
Okay,
you
sir.
open
Yeah, I'm
files?
opening.
Maybe the intent, the NLU.yaml file first.
Sure, sir. So it's under model, is it, or actions?
It is
Just
under,
open.
I think, actions, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Config is fine. Config, I don't think we need to touch now. Just do NLU and actions.yaml.
Okay, sir.
Not py. Actions.py is a backend Python file which you can call if you want to link something to an action. Okay, NLU.ml. Yeah, in the end, just copy paste this intent a couple of lines and then we'll modify it in the end. Let me just
Okay.
copy a few lines from there. Yeah, that's it. Not the entire thing. We don't want to have so many examples. Yeah, that's it. Copy it in the end. Yeah. Yeah, have you copied it? Oh, it's copy.
No.
Crashed, huh?
No. Yes.
Okay. I think you're having memory issues, something like that.
Maybe, sir. Yeah.
Okay, then Swami, we can do it on your system if you're able to that. Let's do in your system. Yeah. And thank you, Santosh. Thank you so much. Looks very quite good the setup here.
Thank you, sir.
You asked us to copy the first
Yeah,
intent.
yeah. So if you can, yeah, I can say maybe flight status. Example, what is the status of my flight? That's it. You can just say flight status question mark as well. Yeah, that's it. Now let's go to actions.yaml file, right? Oh, no, sorry, config.yaml has that, right? Actions.
Mm,
No, stories will come in the end. Let's do, yeah. Domain dot, yeah. So you say utter flight status. Not here, maybe before 31. Yeah. Yeah. Utter underscore flight status.
Sir, one question. Should this should match, this string should match with this?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. So you can keep it as flight status without any underscore also. That's fine. Yeah. Now you can say, please give me your PNR number. By the way, PNR number I think is mostly in trains, right? But nowadays even flights have PNR. Please give me your booking information. That's it. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that is one very simple. Now let's add stories here, stories related to this in the stories.yaml file. Now you add one story, copy one story. You 2-3 lines, not more. Yeah. Yeah. So you say story flight status. Intent greet, action utter greet, let it be there. Now after that, now you say intent flights underscore status. Utter flight underscore status.
Sir, where we gave this this one, right?
Yeah. NLU.yaml. Yeah.
And action will be coming from which thing, sir?
This is your action. This is from domain.yml.
Okay,
This
sir.
is chatbot response. This is not the question. This is the chatbot response. But we are not writing the whole story. We are just seeing a part of the story here. Okay. So intent is not utter flight status. It is just flight status because NLU.yml, your name is flight underscore status, not utter. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, can you save all the files and then train the model again? Rasa.train, Rasa train.
It is here, I think. Do we need to do the init as well? Because those 3 files will be loaded on init.
Oh, no. Need not do that. Anybody who's facing issues in understanding or running this, please let us know. Please let me know.
Sir, there are issues actually with this, with the new entries. It complained about those somewhere. Flight status is not in the list.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think sorry. You need to go to domain.yml and add those things here actually. Not in domain, config.yml.
Okay, sir.
There's a config file. Config.yml. Yeah, please add it.
Should I remove this from here?
No. That is fine. That should be there. Config.yml has all the intents. Okay, which file has all the intents and the entities? Okay, can you go to the list? Yeah. Credentials, endpoints. Can you go to domain.yml? At the top, we missed adding something there at the top.
Intents.
Yeah. You need to add at the last point flights underscore status. Okay, so this is one more step. We missed it out. Okay. Domain.yml has all intents and all responses. We need to keep in mind.
Right, sir.
Okay, now save it. Now train it.
Still showing some missing intent value in stories tab. This one.
Let's see if it is throwing an error.
So this story is okay. So this there is a typo here. I think I have typed something. I deleted that.
Okay. What error did you get?
Sorry,
No worries. Let's see. Kartiresh and Pravina, are you able to do this?
intent none has only one training example. Minimum is 2. Training
Okay. So we need to give 2 examples.
Yes, sir. And there was an issue with this which I deleted lately in the stories.yml.
Yeah, I think intent none should be there.
Okay, sir. Maybe I typed it wrongly. That is what I feel.
Okay. Yeah, this needs to be removed. Yeah.
Because other places for the other stories there is nothing blank intent. So both are pair of intent and action.
Okay.
Is not saved or
We will have to. So when you make changes to your original files, best practice to keep a copy. So we can do that later.
yes,
Somebody can probably tell you if there is some error there which is missing.
it seems to be working now. So I think sir that deletion we what we related here intent was not saved in stories.yml. So now it should work.
Okay. Let's see.
Yes sir. So it is saved now. If I should I run the next command?
Yeah. Please do, Rasha Shell.
Still loading. It's still loading.
Now it's loaded.
Yes sir. So I
Please
gave.
give me your booking information.
So I'm typing flight status
Ah.
and question mark. So this answer. This is what I'm getting.
Okay. So it's working. So this is just a very small example of how you can create a chatbot. You can see these files can already be started using it, and you can add your intent and entities on top of these. Because see, greeting and goodbye everyone needs, right? Positive, negative, everyone needs positive responses. On based on that, you can add on. So we'll do one exercise. I'll suggest some exercises for the class to do it. But hope everybody is clear about this. Thank you, Soumya. Before
Sir,
we move to the next, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, sir. One question. So can we say we are going to add a new intent flight status? Now, can we reuse the existing one for greeting rather than combining the writing the greeting for flight
Yeah,
status again?
yes, definitely. So whatever they give you default, we'll have two things: happy messages as a greeting, and then goodbye messages. That every chatbot has already. And I think when we do Google Dialog Flow, probably I think in 1 hour we'll do a Google Dialog Flow end to end. They will have two default intents. One is hi, the other is I do not understand. So that's they have already built in. You don't need to do examples for that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So quickly, let me check around people. Hope everybody is able to understand. Do this. Any questions? Please ask. Feel free to ask. Very important. Rasa framework, very popular. I will go alphabetically on my chat screen. I mean the list of people. Ashutosh,
Sir, yes. Yes.
you are able to do Ashutosh this one.
Yes, yes.
Okay. You are clear about the file functions
Yes, sir. I am clear.
and how to change it and all, right? Okay. Gautam, you are able to do it.
Yes, sir. I have done the basic things. Hi, hello, and I am doing the customization part. Means that is intent, all these things. Configuration file. I am adding
Okay.
this.
Yeah, let us know if you face any issues. I think it
Yes, yes, yes.
should be done. Okay, Kathireshan, any updates?
I have done the basic things, sir. It's working. I am yet to do the customization and try out.
Okay. Anyway, I'm looking to give maybe one customization exercise in class also towards the end of the class today, so that we are all aware. Uh, Purnima,
Yes, sir, I am able to.
Ravina, thank you.
Yes, sir. I was able to do the basic things on Collab. I'm trying on Jupyter like local. So
Yeah, sure.
since I
And
was
you
not
remember the
available
files to be
last
changed.
class, yeah,
Oh, okay. So you can
I'm
refer the recording actually.
yeah, I'm installing Rasa there, so
Okay,
it's
so
taking time.
you need to edit 3 4 files. Just have a look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you.
Okay.
Okay. Sandeep was already doing this. Sandeep, did you solve the train issue by any chance?
Not yet. I'm actually spinning up a virtual machine. It looks like it's a problem with the chip
Okay.
the MacBook
Okay.
has.
Okay. Let us know. Santosh, I think you're already doing it. Soumya, I was just sharing the screen. Vara Prasad, you're able to do this?
Yes, sir. Doing in Colab, sir.
Okay. But you're clear, right? What are the changes we do for a custom
Yes, sir.
action? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Vinay, you're able to do this? Okay. I think Vinay might not be there.
Sir, I'm
Okay,
facing
let's.
the issue in custom one.
Oh,
Mm,
Santosh, you are facing. You want to share
yes,
screen? You want to
yes,
share
sir.
screen?
Yes, sir.
Please.
So I have modified the file, sir. In
Mm-hmm.
NLU, I modified intent
Mm-hmm.
flight and example I given
Mm-hmm.
two examples.
Mm-hmm.
Then the in the domain also I've added the intent in the intent list.
Okay.
Then again in the flight status as a action.
You can make it a utter underscore flight just to make it uniform.
Uh,
Utter underscore
okay,
flight status.
okay, okay. So okay, then in the stories, okay. I don't need to give utter, is it?
Yeah, you need to give utter underscore
Utter
flight
also.
status there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now you can can save all the files and run the model.
Yeah, all are saved. I need to train first.
Are you getting an error?
Uh, no, sir. Now it's loaded. I am running the Rasa shell.
Okay, awesome. Just run it and we'll.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. The challenge, not challenge, the involved thing will, once you have a new project, you will have to come up with those intents and actions, and then once you have done with it, it should start giving you normal results. By the way, some of the advanced applications include linking. So for example, somebody says a word, so rather than responding, you want to do an action, maybe show him a report or him or her a report, then you can write that code in actions.py file, which we just saw.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Now it's working.
Okay, awesome. Let me share screen now. Hope everybody is having a basic knowledge of how Rasa works now, right? So let me share screen. Rasa is done. I have two options. I can do a Python chatter bot. Okay, let's do a Python chatter bot. And then I have a Transformers dialog GPT. Then I have a Google dialog flow. So there are 4 topics to be covered. Last topic, deep learning with chatbot, I'll introduce today. We'll spend majorly on the 4th class, but what should I? So I'll do a Python chatterbot first. Has anybody used Python chatterbot module earlier in your other projects, or maybe in your companies? Python chatterbot. Okay. No, right. So let's quickly understand. So Python. Okay. Before we introduce, so it's like again a simple. It's an interface, a chatbot interface provided by Python as a module, which is already has, just like you saw in Rasa, it comes with a default greet intent and other things, right? So this chatterbot is trained on some typical corpuses, including bank bot and other things, right? And you can use it, and you can also give it as a list of utterances what conversation looks like in your case, right? So those some of the things you can do. So that's typically what a Python chatterbot. It works on again some sort of a graph, right? It is different from an entity knowledge graph, but this is how it looks like. This image was taken from chatterbot website, Python chatterbot website. Hello, hi, how I can help you? I would like to buy a movie ticket. Some conversation examples. For what movie? Monty Python. Now, again, conversation. How can I help you? Buy tickets. What movie? Wizard of Oz. How I can help you? Would like to buy a movie ticket, would like to buy ticket for a movie. They are similar, right? Similar sentences. What movie? And this is the answer, right? So in some way, it is using part of a graph, but not separated as entity, but more of a question, the sentences itself. That is how internally it is working, right? We'll quickly do an example because it is again a simple example to do a chatterbot. The best is to open the actually the chatterbot website. Let's Okay, so Chatterbot has this very good documentation. I am posting or pasting it in the chat. Okay, please go through it. We'll do one very simple example. One of you has to volunteer for that. So just letting you know. Chatterbot is a Python library that makes it easy to generate. Chatterbot uses a selection of machine learning algorithms. This makes it easy for developers to create chatbots and automate conversation. See the process flow diagram. And this is the one which I just showed you. Okay, this is the logic adapter. That's fine. An example of typical input would be something like this. Good morning, how are you doing? I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. You're welcome. Do you like hats? Okay. Untrained instance of Chatterbot starts off with no knowledge of how to communicate. Each time a user enters a statement, the library saves the text that they entered and the text that was statement was in response to. As Chatterbot receives more input, the number of responses that it can reply and the accuracy of in responses increases. So it is in a way learning from your inputs or from your interaction with you. Now, how does the program work? So very important. Program selects the closest matching response by searching for the closest matching known statement that matches the input. So it is having a set of known responses and that is what it will do, right? So that is the whole idea, how it works. Process flow, we know. Okay, installing from PyPI. So can everybody do this, please? Pip install Chatterbot. And once you're done with that, we'll do this. Okay, let's quickly, I mean, I don't think this will take much time. Can we have a volunteer? Can we have a volunteer, please, on just installing Chatterbot?
Let me try, sir.
Okay, Swami, I would request someone else. You have volunteered a few times today. So anyone except Santosh, Soumya, and I think Sandeep. And they have already demonstrated. So, and others, please go ahead.
Let me share my screen.
Thank you, Katrish.
It is still installing.
No worries. Now there is this link in that same side where it says starting a simple chatbot. Can you also refer that, and we'll do that here.
Sure.
Not the Rasa. Yes, on the left hand side you have the quick start guide. Some installation is done. I think. No. There's a quick. Okay, let me share with you the link.
Yeah, quick start.
Yeah. So if you can just follow that.
Installation is still going on.
Okay, no worries. So meanwhile, while it is training, once you install Chatterbot, you import a module library called list trainer. Now, list trainer, what it does is it allows you to train the chatbot from a list of utterances. Okay, so that list trainer creates an object called trainer by training on the list of utterances you have given. And that's as simple as that. Now, one fun way to do this is if you have maybe a chat data set, right, which is separated into a lot of these responses and questions and responses, you can feed it here as a list, or you can just read it from a CSV file. That doesn't matter, right? Then you can then train your chatterbot. It will be like quite a good chatterbot, right? Because it's been trained on such huge data. Question answer data sets, you might know, right? I think for Kaggle also they have probably if publicly available. Does anybody know if Kaggle question answer data set is available publicly? Not Kaggle, sorry, Quora question answer data set. Okay, I'll have to find out.
Quora dataset we already have, sir.
But that is question pair, not the question answer, right? So in this one, as you see, it's a set of question responses. You ask something, you respond. Hi, hello, hi there. How are you doing? I'm doing great. So if you have a huge data set like that, even that can be tried here. Not necessarily Quora, any question answer. So any question answer, I think there will be something. Okay, I found this interesting Kaggle data set called question answer data set from Wikipedia. So definitely, let's you can keep it in mind for question answer data set. This is actually more of a graph kind of or entity pair kind of answer, but yeah, no worries. So is it running for you, Kathireshan, the code?
It is still running.
Okay,
It is
okay,
taking
no
time.
worries. Anybody who has already installed Chatterbot? Everyone is like nobody installing this.
I'm facing some errors, sir.
In what running the code?
Yes.
Okay. Is it
So
something to do with spacey?
yeah, spacey dot load.
Yes, yes, yes. So apparently spacey has been updated and Chatterbot has been not. So yeah, I was expecting somebody to come back. It shows people have installed it. Okay, so the small issue here is spacey library has been updated to the latest version, and because of that, something in Chatterbot is breaking. They are trying to find a solution, but there are some workarounds. We'll probably refer to that. But yeah, but typically, but still a basic Chatterbot probably will work if you downgrade your spacey for the time being, right? So one of the issues, easy workaround, especially for folks who are doing on collab, is you can downgrade your spacey setup. Okay. So Santosh, you might have a spacey which is 3.0, right? So downgrading it slow to maybe a 2.5 or 2.3, I think, would solve the issue temporarily till the time Rasa fixes it. Not Rasa, sorry. Till the time Chatterbot fixes it. Python Chatterbot.
Sure, sir. Let me try downgrading it.
Folks, any questions? So the next session after the lunch, we'll be continuing doing a couple of more examples. One is the dialog flow. Sorry, Google Dialog Flow is one. Spend around half an hour there, and also Dialog GPT another 15 minutes. Then we'll do some really hands-on coding in the second half. Okay, so that's the whole agenda. Chatterbot, I would request you to try installing for sure. It is nothing complex. As I said, it's very simple. One of the changes you can do here is you can put, instead of the conversation, which is like just a bunch of lines, have something, maybe something huge, and it will give you a good. Okay, there is some issue. My God, it's like 5 pages of issues. Go to the end. Wow. You can do text mining on this as well.
Sustained. Okay.
Okay, we will figure it out, Kathireshan. Thank you.
Sure.
No
Yeah.
worries. Yeah. Let's take a break and meet in an hour. Some important stuff to cover. Let's be back. And yeah, I would request everyone to be installing everything which we cover in class, because all of this kind of are giving an idea of how the chatbot landscape is currently in the industry, right? So please do install when we are discussing. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So how long is the break?
It's one for 1 hour, Ashita.
Yeah, thanks, Praveen.
Anyone solved that spacey issue, Chatterbot? Is anyone online?
Actually, I tried for 2.5, but the 2.5 version
It
is
didn't
not
happen.
there.
You are using Colab or not?
Collab,
Yeah,
Collab
yeah, I'm
Praveen.
also using Colab, but downgrading didn't work, right?
Actually, I'm not able to find the below versions. So how did you try, Pravina?
Actually, did spacey with the version given
Okay.
2.8. Is it
It's
spacey is
able to
equal
down.
to 2.8?
Okay.
But it is not working. It's telling it's not able to find.
Oh yeah, for me also same thing. Looking in the index, but requirement already satisfied at to 3 point something, and could not find the version that satisfies the requirement. It's saying.
Yeah, same thing for me also. But you have downloaded EN Core spacey, then it might work. I'm trying that.
Okay. Soumya, are you able to solve the issue?
I'm not trying to download. I mean downgrade the spacey version. I'm trying to download the two models, EN Core WebM, WebSM, and EN. The complaint,
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's what.
error says
Hmm.
find model.
Okay. That also I tried actually, but somehow it's not working.
It's not
That's what I
working.
am trying. EN Core Web SM, I'm trying to
Yeah,
do it.
It's not working actually.
true. I am also facing the same.
Soumya,
Yeah,
Are you
yep.
there? Yeah, after we installed, pip installed that Spacey and EN core, I imported Spacey and loaded that EN core WebSM. After that also I'm getting the same error.
Same here. I tried that. So I thought explicitly we can download the
Yeah,
EN
yeah.
code models, but I think chatbot will itself download those models, and there in that while downloading those, it is facing issue. So even if we download separately, it's not going to help.
That
So
library only pointing to them something, Ian, right?
yes, chatbot
Yeah.
library will have